We need to talk about Love is Blind.
I cannot tell you the last time I had a facial. I am comfortable in front of a camera in an unhealthy way.
By that. Which brings up
It is nobody's fault that you're not making money. And friends, family, clients that were like, you should go. I'm glad that time is over. I've worked in med spas, I've worked in fast facial, I've worked in holistic facials.
what does success look like for you today?
You cannot rely on the education that's solely being given to you.
Do you regret going on the show? From classically trained actress to master esthetician, Allie Dawson, better known as Serving Face First, shares the raw, real moments that make up her everyday. From DMV road rage to discovering the best skincare treatments in Peru to freezing her eggs, Allie brings all of us along for the ride. She sets the table with high-end skincare knowledge and extreme wit, and we all happily eat it up. Allie Dawson, welcome to Friends from the Feed.
Great intro.
Well, thank you. They'll hear it in post, but hi, I'm so excited to have you on. You are our last episode, if you will, of this mini series, and I don't want to say I saved the best for last, but I know you the best,
Yeah.
so I knew we'd really get into it.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to be here and to do this with you. It's very exciting.
Ugh, okay, so a little bit of background. You and I kind of met online. So we both lived in New York at the time, and my agency had paired up with a skincare studio as a partnership, and so I started following them online. They opened, and then you were my esthetician for a year. We have the extreme pleasure of both of us working for each other. You were my esthetician for a year, and I was your social media manager for 4 years.
Yeah. It is like a perfectly organic relationship that I think happened, which I think is why we work so well together because you just know me so well at this point. Yeah, and vice versa. I can't believe it's actually been, now I've known you for what, like 6 years? That's so weird.
6 years. We're halfway to a decade. And I had the extreme pleasure of being your social media manager and watching you use your God-given talent of talk to elevate yourself in the skincare realm. And now you just opened your first studio.
I did. It's been a long time kind of in the making. I think it was something that I always knew I wanted to do. We have been working together, I think, all to get to this point. And yeah, it's crazy it feels like it doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere because I feel like we have been working at it for so long and like it's been the goal for so long. But at the same time, it's definitely a very new and exciting chapter. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, let's get into it because I have a lot of questions about it that we have not talked about.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, first and foremost, what made you feel ready to finally open the studio? Because you and I have been back and forth over the years of when that timeline would make the most sense. What does that look like? Did you have an aha moment, or were you just like, I just need to finally do this?
Yeah, you know what? I think people always say like, oh, you'll never be ready to like do a big endeavor or do this, but like I genuinely felt it was time. I felt ready. I think it's just the way that everything was lining up in my life at the time. I did Love is Blind. The show was coming out and it kind of aligned with I went on a treat with the LA facialist to Costa Rica, and it was a big esthetician retreat. And I met so many incredible estheticians, and I was really practicing massage skills. And I think just talking to a lot of the women there, who a lot of them were business owners, some brand new, some who've owned their businesses for years, I felt just really inspired. And I think with everything lining up, it just felt like I need to ride this wave now. Like, this is not a wave that I can get behind on. And if I'm going to do this, like, this is the time to do this. I came back from Costa Rica September, and then the show came out in October, and it just kind of allowed me to ride that wave. And that's kind of when I started planning for this. So I started planning for this in September, October, but I didn't open until April 7th. So even though it was something that feels sometimes like it comes out of the blue when you're on social media and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is opening. But I'd been working on it for 6 months prior to it actually appearing on the internet or to the world. So it definitely took a lot of planning. But no, I felt ready to go. Like I was like, this is it. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I feel very confident in the skill set that I've learned and the abilities that I have to treat. And at this point, I'm ready to go.
That kind of brings me into my next question. What is something within like the esthetician world that you feel like people misunderstand, like in the skincare industry?
I think the scope of what it is I'm able to treat. I think when people think treating, a lot of the time they go to dermatology, and that's not saying that that's the wrong choice, but I feel like as an esthetician I'm more intimately involved with skin, and I think people may just have an idea of like, hey, this person does facials, but I feel like I just do so much more than that. And I think something that I have learned having worked in so many different spaces is yes, it's the touch, yes, it's the lasers and the devices and those treatment focuses, but it's also there's this element of like how much this work I think is actually healing for people and how much there is
There's something
like
emotional in that.
but it is. It really is like it is a I have been and in the room with people having some of their toughest moments and really it's a really intimate relationship that I've built with my clients and that is something that I think maybe as a client or a customer you may not expect that you may walk out of that room crying because you're talking about how you desperately want to leave your job and trying to have babies or, going through a breakup. Like I go through a lot of those moments with people and it is a really intimate and close relationship. So I think it's beyond like, yes, I'm treating skin or yes, I'm, making you feel good. It is, I think, deeper than that.
You may have just answered my next question, which is how do you build trust with someone in such an intimate field? Like,
Yeah.
I think talking it out, like, really?
Yeah, I think for me, it's first by one, just establishing that I know what I'm talking about. I think that that's
Which
the
you
first thing, which is just making sure that people know that, like, when they come into this space, like, I have their best interest in mind. I'm never going to recommend, sell, push something on them that I genuinely don't feel like is the right thing for them. So I think just establishing a level of trust that like I am going to the best of my ability take care of you in the best way that I know how. And I think once you have that that sense of trust with the person of like okay this person is taking care of me, then I think that leads to feeling comfortable to have those like actually get to know me and me to get to know you and just us to have that actual intimate relationship over time.
that was one of the things that I really liked when I was your client at the time, is that I'm like a broke 24-year-old getting my skincare treatments done because I need to get them done, but you never like pushed products on me. You would recommend things or even give me like dupe advice of what to buy. It was so helpful in that time in my life, and I never felt uncomfortable going to you because I knew you weren't going to try at the end of our time together to push something on me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that that's always been really important to me too, is that before I was an esthetician, I was a consumer and I am someone who genuinely loves skincare and I genuinely love this industry. And so I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly educating myself about not only what is available on the professional market, but what's also what you're using and what you're buying and shopping at Sephora. I make a point to really know what's out there and you can never fully know because there's just so much out there. But I think for me, like what's in the best interest of my client truly may not be what we sell at the place that I work. And I'm still going to give you those best options. And I also, something that's really important for me is making sure that people still have access to really great care, no matter their price point. And I think that there is a way to have really great skin. And, you don't need to spend $1 million. You can also have really great skin and spend $1 million. Like there's a range for everybody. And part of what's been so great about opening my own place is that I have 100% control and say about what I bring to you. And there's nothing that I carry that I genuinely don't think can work for everybody, and that there is that range in price point, there is that range in skin and complexity and what it takes care of. And so I feel confident now that like I carry things that I genuinely believe and I genuinely know that do something for someone. But yeah, many years I've had to sell a dupe or two, but
I would say it was a light suggestion,
yeah,
but
light
nevertheless.
suggestion. And you never want anyone to feel like, "Ugh, I don't ever want to push anything on someone, like you don't know what they've got going on. Like, this is what I suggest. Take it or leave it. Take a look at the prices. You don't have to get everything now. I'm a huge believer in finish what you have at home because I think overconsumption is just, it's really easy to overconsume in any industry.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, finish what you have. Once you finish, come back. We'll re up, right? And we have this here. This is what I've recommended, and we'll go from there.
There's someone
Yeah.
watching who's about to go into esthetician school that has a dream of maybe one day opening their own studio, opening their own place. What advice would you give your younger self who is just then stepping into that space?
You have to be self motivated. You have to want to know more. And you cannot rely on the education that's solely being given to you. Going to aesthetic school is really just about learning to pass the test. And so if you want to know more and if you want to grow and if you want to advance, you have to be self-motivated and you have to be ambitious. I also think that, again, almost 10 years into this, it is nobody's fault that you're not making money. It's not. If you're not making the money that you want to be, then you need to take a look at yourself and be like, what is it that I can improve upon? What is it that I need to work on? I've had to learn in different, different cities, different markets, how to re-engage, how to, get new clients. And that is a lot of hard work, but it really there's been points when I've had to look at myself and be like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why are people not coming back to me? Or why are people going elsewhere? And how can I do something different to keep people? And lastly, something I would tell my younger self is work in a lot of different places. When I see brand new estheticians trying to go solo and start their own business, I'm absolutely terrified for them. Could not have ever imagined coming straight out of school and going immediately to opening a business. And if you do that and you're successful, kudos. But I just knew that like I didn't know enough. And I'm so glad that I've had so many years of different work experience. I've worked in med spas, I've worked in fast facial, I've worked in holistic facials. Like I've had such a range of experiences and I've learned so much. And I also have just learned so much about the industry and the business and like what is making good money, what's not, like what do I ask for to look at contracts. Like there's just so much you can learn. And before you take the plunge in owning your own space, like it's okay for you to work for someone else for a while and just learn as much as you can.
Amazing answer. I was like, this is going to be our longest interview because Allie's going to give us the answers.
I love, and I'm a talker, so
Um,
I can't help it.
we're both talkers. It's
Yeah.
okay. We'll get into that too. But I am curious because your studio has, correct me if I'm wrong, your studio has been open for 4 months, three
I don't
months now?
know. Like it'll be 3 months in July.
It'll be 3 months in July. I was like, it's around
Yeah, it's around.
4. Oh my, it feels like it should be like 6, but
It also feels like it should be like 6, but it's not.
now that your studio is open and you are thriving, in my opinion, what does success look like for you today? Because you've been working towards this goal
Yeah.
for 5 or 6 years. Did you get that sense of that accomplishment feeling? Like, what does your success look like today for you after you've just achieved such a big dream for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it almost like the bar resets because like I've wanted this to this point and now that I'm here it's a whole different chapter of like how much there's a whole different thing of like, okay, how do I make sure people are rebooking and how do I keep offering new services and how do I keep things interesting and how do I grow my business and scale my business? Like it's like a whole different system that I'm in now. I think for me right now, what would be great would be like I have certain like financial goals in the business of like where I want to be. And obviously, I have really big dreams for where I'm going and where I'm taking the studio. What does success look like for me now? In this exact moment, success looks
Yeah,
like, can I pay myself? I would love to pay
that's
myself right now. Like that would be what success is in this moment. But, maybe in a couple months that changes and it would hopefully change to like growing a team or starting to, go back and forth to different cities and seeing clients. Like that's a dream of mine. And I'm hoping to make that come true sooner rather than later.
I can't wait. I know that was a bit of a loaded question as well, but I was like, what does that look like after you've achieved a dream? Then you're back at the 0 mark and you start over again.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I have to stop and remember, wow, like this is everything that I've wanted and now I'm here. But it does feel like the goalpost is always moving, as in like now there's a new goal and now there's a new thing that we're working towards. And it is not easy and I'm working all the time, but it's definitely I am grateful for where I am. Like it has been a very long time coming to get to this point.
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Switching lanes here,
Yeah.
as my most well-traveled friend, easily across the board,
Yeah.
is there a certain country that you've been to that you unanimously can say they have the best skincare?
No, I don't think so. I think that every place I've traveled, like everything is so infused with their own culture. And I think that that's beautiful in its own way. I don't think that anything is better than the other. It's just like a different experience. Like, spa culture in Turkey is like very different than spa culture in Thailand, and both are amazing. And I love them. And I like can't wait to go back to both places and experience that. But I don't think that there's anything that is, even when we're looking at like a US market and things that we offer here, like we're not offering bad treatments, the things that we are able to provide for clients, customers, patients, like it's not bad. It's just different and it's a different lens of looking at things. I love to travel, but I also love to just experience like, oh, what is this standard of beauty for you? And what are these practices that make the women and the men in this place feel beautiful, and how is it integrated into your daily life? That is just always something that fascinates me, and it may not be like what my standard of beauty is, but I love to just be a visitor and be a participant.
What is your favorite treatment that you've gotten overseas, if you will, or favorite skincare product that you've bought for yourself?
No.
Because I know you've done a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot. Honestly, it's like a two-part. Like there's something so, and what I've tried to like evoke in my studio is there's a level of service in a lot of Asian spas, specifically in Southeast Asia. Like when I went to Bali and going to Thailand, where there's just like a level of service and mindfulness that I don't think is normalized in our culture. And like every spa you go to, they're gonna wash your feet with rose water and like flowers before you start. Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I'm not washing feet with flowers here. I'm
Eh,
not doing that. But I love that that's just like, and this is how we start a treatment. I loved when we were in Turkey and we went to the hammam and I had my whole body scrubbed down, flipped over, butt naked on a marble slab. These two ladies just like ripping the dead skin off my body. I've never been so soft. And like, I laid there and I was like, I feel like a princess. Like, this is what princesses must experience in their life. It was the most insane like beauty treatment I've ever done, and I felt amazing after. So it varies, but probably those would be my top two. Like as far as skincare products go,
like, do you have a ride or die skincare product from? I know what products you like here in the
it's
US, which we can get
sunscreen.
into in a minute.
Yeah,
I know it's SPF. I know
it's
your favorite thing is
sunscreen.
SPF.
It's sunscreen. Like everywhere I go when I travel, like I just love collecting sunscreen. It's my favorite thing. And I don't have like I have a range of brands like from everywhere, Isden, Eucerin, Beauty of Joseon. There's this new one called like Cannabo that I've been trying. Yeah, it's sunscreen. I'm huge on sunscreen, global sunscreens.
All right, we'll come back around to that because I know sunscreen is your favorite thing. But I just wanted to ask because I've never asked you that. And I'm like, what treatments do you enjoy outside the US? Because I know you've tried a bunch. So
Yeah.
thank you
You
so
know what?
much
It's
for saying.
also, I think for me, as somebody who practices, I don't get things done a lot. And this is like a uniform thing when you are a practitioner. Like, I cannot tell you the last time I had a facial. I cannot tell you the last time I had a massage. I would actually love to be someone who gets these things done more regularly. So when I do go to get treatments, like, I also feel like I'm getting treatments to truly relax. So I feel like I'm in more of a spa environment. But I'm also someone, because I can do those treatments, like I'll microneedle, I'll do lasers, like I'll do those. When I was in Thailand, I did Rougeron injections and I did like 5 different machines on my face. And it's like, that's kind of my regular practice, as opposed to like if I'm going to get a treatment done, like I'm getting a treatment, I want to lay down for hours and like do what you got to do to me, because it's very
I
few and far between.
I guess in my mind, there's a misconception from me to you that what you're doing in your day and night routine is better than what I'm doing because you're an esthetician. So you maybe not getting a facial every month may not be as big of a deal. Is that correct?
I think that is correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that truthfully, I have access to a lot. And so
Mhm.
as a result, I feel like I have access to some really, really quality products. I'm also insanely consistent, and I have no problem doing an 8 to 10 step routine morning and night. That doesn't bother me. And it's actually something I really enjoy doing. And even if I am not doing that, maybe I'm really lazy and I don't want to do that, like the products that I'm using are still a lot more active. So I am able to maintain my skin because I think I am using really quality products. But that's why I always tell people, you're going to touch your face so much more than I'm going to touch your face. What you do at home is so much more important than what you're getting done in the treatment room. And I like to tell people, like, think of the services in the treatment room as boosters, and they are just elevating what you're doing at home. A solid at home routine. When you come and you pay for more expensive services or devices, you're just going to see more of a result.
I'm gonna ask because I know the audience will probably want to know. What is your advice on how often you should be getting a facial or be seeing an esthetician?
I think it depends on what the concern is. Generally speaking, we want to stick in that 4 to 6 week window. Why? Because your skin cells turn over roughly every 30 days. The older you get, it turns into 35, 40, 45. And so it's nice to have that intervention to help those skin cells turn over so you're not looking dull or congested or whatever that may be. But it also really depends on what you're doing and what your goal is. So as someone who has pretty like easy skin, I maintain my skin really well. Yeah, I don't maybe get as many facials as someone who perhaps has active acne or has melasma that we're actively working on or has a lot of irritation or repair, like a sensitive skin barrier. So it really depends on you and your skin and what you need. But generally speaking, that 4 to 6 week window. And that's obviously also changed if you're doing treatments, right? So if you're doing lasers or you're working on a microneedling series, like that number shifts a little bit. But generally 4 to 6 weeks is the goal.
That's fair to, well, I go once a month, but that's because you were my first esthetician.
Exactly.
We have to talk about the elephant in the room. We got to do it.
What is that?
I know you're scared. I know you're scared right now, but it's gonna be okay. We need to talk about Love is Blind.
Oh, yeah. I was like, which
Because
elephant?
which elephant are we talking about? You mentioned it earlier, and going back in time, almost I think 2 years ago, you were here in Arizona, and you and I were going back and forth on whether or not you should do the show.
Oh my God.
And I was really undecided, and so were you.
Yes.
And we really didn't reach a consensus on whether or not you were gonna move forward.
Yeah, it was. I feel like at first I have to tell you how I even got to the point where I
Tell me.
found the show because I basically was on, first of all, I never really watched the show. It gave me a lot of anxiety, and that should have been really telling for me. But the amount of people, I mean, friends, family, clients that were like, you should go on this show. Like, you should apply. You should do this. And this was actually about like 6 or 7 months before they actually started casting because there was a rumor that they were doing it in DC. There was like a flyer going around, and everybody sent me the flyer and they're like, you should do this. I was like, nah, I'm good. And then 6 or 7 months later, they actually start casting. They're actually recruiting. And again, I had so many more people being like, apply, do this, apply, do this. I had a friend in the industry actually who was like, hey, this casting director reached out. If you want their contact, let me know. And I was like, you know what? Let me just like get this casting director's contact information, just like see what it's about, like what the dates are, just any basic information. And the next thing I know, I'm on a phone call with them and I'm just like in it. And it's just like off to the races. I was really, really undecided about whether that was something I wanted to do or not. And if I was ready for something like that, I think the commitment side of things, I was like, yeah, I could definitely do that if I met the right person or X, Y, and Z. But I didn't know, yeah, I just didn't know if this was the right choice to make, essentially. And I was really, really back and forth on it, almost like up until the last minute but I have really bad FOMO. And something that is like a real thing for me is like, I never ever want to live my life and say, I wonder what if. I wonder what if that happened. I wonder what if like would have been. And maybe that's like a really toxic thing I need to get over for myself. But I was like, I need to do it just to say that I did it and I experienced it. And I did. And then that's on that because I don't know how much more I'm allowed to say. But
Well, I don't know how much you're allowed to say either
yeah,
because we both know we don't know how much you're allowed to
yeah.
say. So my question to you in the most simple way you can answer is, do you have any regrets? I've never asked you. Do you regret going on the show?
Yes.
Oh shoot, I didn't think you'd say yes.
Yes.
I did not think you were to say yes.
I would say like yes and no. Like, do I think that that show was the right show for me? No. I don't think it was the best thing for me personally and my mental health. And yeah, I don't think it was the right choice for me. But with that being said, I also don't have regrets because I think the things that I learned from that year and just, I think it was just an insane amount of things that I learned about myself in that amount of time that I could now in my life, I'm like, I'm so grateful that I learned those things. I'm so grateful that I feel like everything happened for the right reason. And I feel like I went through what I went through and I dealt with what I dealt with when it came to myself, my mental health, and the after effect. If I hadn't gone through all those things, I don't think I'd have my business today.
That was my presumption of what you were going to say to
Yeah.
that question, is that things would not have aligned had you not on. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you would have opened your studio. Would it have happened as quickly as it did if you hadn't gone on the show? I can't say.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think you and
100%.
I are on the same page of that.
100%. I definitely think so. I definitely, yeah, I don't think I would have. I just learned so much about myself in that experience. I learned so much about my limits and what they weren't. And I learned so much about my own mental health. Like, I didn't realize I was someone who, like, had as much anxiety as I had. And I'm so glad that I know that about myself so I can like keep that in check in my life. And that would have gone, you know, how else would that have come up in my life? I learned so much about me and relationships. I don't think I would have been in a relationship had it not been from what I learned from that show. I'm so like now in a weird way, I'm like, it happened for a reason. I met some really wonderful women and who I still consider my friends. And so, yeah, it definitely was, it was a time. It was a time. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that time is over, but it was the time.
I mean, it was fun when it was coming out. It was fun to do social media stuff for you when it was
Yeah.
coming out, but
Yeah, and I think it just like it just got me ready to go. It got me in this like, okay, I was in this like very hustle mind frame and I really like that. And I also am someone who is self-motivated, very disorganized, but self-motivated. And Taylor's laughing because Taylor constantly has to harass me and be like, Allie, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? I need this. I need this today. I'm like, I'm the worst about that. But I really enjoy that creative process and I think it allows me to still use my acting skills in a creative way, but just in like a different medium. Yeah.
you're literally teeing me up for my next questions, Allie, and I didn't send these to you.
No, I don't
Like
know the
these ones that
question.
I'm going in blind. Okay, love is blind.
Love is blind.
So love is blind. So I this kind of is a twofold because I know we both have extensive theater backgrounds, which I think is one of the reasons why we were initially drawn to each other as people. But I know I hate getting this question, and I wonder if it's applicable to you. Do you think your theater background has helped you be your most authentic self online?
1000%.
And
1000%.
yeah, because I've told you for since day one, like you're a superstar, like you're meant to be in front of people, obviously. But is that one of the reasons why people are so drawn to you online in real life? Like, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I say this to people all the time because a lot of estheticians will come up to me and they're like, you're so good at social media. Like, you're so good, like being in front of camera. And I'm like, I am comfortable in front of a camera in an unhealthy way. Like, I have no problem talking to people. I feel honestly like and I can't explain this to people who aren't actors. I felt my most myself when I was on stage. I felt my
Yeah.
most in my body and who I was like when I was performing. And obviously, that is not my career path, but social media has been a stage for me. And so I feel really comfortable there. And I often tell people like, one, don't compare yourself to me because this was my profession. Like this was my job. I acted for money to pay the rent. So I'm really comfortable in this space, but I also think that something that is so unique to an actor's training is understanding the human experience. And we spent years about getting down to the truth and the core of a character and understanding people's humanity and being able to be incredibly emotionally open and being comfortable just being who you are in a space in front of people. And I think I have an extensive training in just like being a very vulnerable person in front of an audience. And so I, you know, when I decided to stop acting, it was very much a thing in my family and they were very concerned and they weren't very happy because they're like, we just put so much money into like,
Same.
yeah.
Same.
They're like, we just put so much money into you being an actor and all of a sudden now you don't want to be an actor anymore. But I think that if I hadn't had that training, I don't think I would be as successful or as comfortable maybe in this way. And I do feel like it has given me a unique skill set of being able to connect with all kinds of people. And I'm so grateful that I went to acting school. Like I could have never envisioned that this was what my life would look like, but I'm so grateful that I have that background because this part of the job, which is a very time consuming, difficult part of the job, which is the social media and the promotion and the marketing aspect of it, is something that comes a lot more comfortably and a lot more naturally for me. So I'm very grateful for that.
I always like to joke, I'm like, and I think this is applicable to you as well, is that I'm like, I don't feel cringe about putting myself online because once you've cried in front of everyone that you know in your class at 8:30 a.m., nothing can stop you. You're
Literally.
unstoppable.
I just only theater people understand this, especially people that go to theater school. The crazy things that I have witnessed in my young adult life is
I
insane.
should
I've seen crazy things. I've done crazy things. So, yeah, I have no problem getting on and like doing a little TikTok. I'm not a TikTok dancey person though. You've never really seen me do TikTok. That's not really my thing.
I don't think I've ever seen you dance.
No, 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 it's okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never seen you dance.
No, I'm good on that. But as far as like getting up and like talking about freezing my eggs
Yeah.
or my fight, like for me, it's like if my vulnerability can create a connection between us, then like I'm happy to offer that. Or if my vulnerability can help somebody else, then that's what I don't feel any type of way about that.
No, at the end of the day, you're a storyteller, you're an entertainer, you're a star, and I stand by that. Which brings us little jazz hands, which brings us into my favorite part of Friends from the Feed, the group chat questions. These are a set of questions that I like to ask anyone on this mini series to just get to know them a little bit more than we already have been. So, the first question is, what's one connection you made online that became something bigger IRL?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've met so many estheticians online. I've met so many people, and for me, that is such a like it is such a wonderful network to have. And I feel like I know estheticians from everywhere now, and to be able to pick their brains and they're to pick mine, like we need that community because we need to be able to provide the best service we can for our clientele. And I love, love, love when people DM me and then like, hey, you're going to this conference, I'm going to this conference, we can finally meet. Like I'm going to a conference in Dallas and I'm finally going to be meeting some people that I've been talking to online forever. Recently, I was at a conference here in the area and I've been talking to this girl online forever. I've never actually met her in person. I was like, oh my God, this is you. Like, nice to meet you. Like, I love that it just has created better connections with me and people in the industry. Like, I love meeting real people.
You're finally meeting your friends from the feed.
My friends from the feed, yeah.
I love that. What's something you've posted that you were scared to share, but are so glad you did now in retrospect?
I don't know if scared is the right word for this, but I think definitely talking about my like fibroid experience and just like all of my egg freezing process fibroid debacle experience because I'm a skincare page and like this is low key a little TMI and I was nervous about just how it would be perceived and how it would come off, but I was just overwhelmingly met with so many women who were like, I'm going through the same thing and I've had the same experience and have questions about my experience. That was another one. Oh, also when I talked about my lipo, talking about that, I think that was really scary because one, people are very judgmental. Not like I often care too much about that because when I've made a decision, I made a decision. But it was one of those things where it's like people had questions. And so I was happy to like be a source. And I also didn't have an incredible experience when I had my first procedure done. Sometimes getting certain things, people responding in ways that like weren't very nice or weren't very couth. But I'm just like, I'm happy I posted about it. Again, like if anything I do can like help somebody else make a better decision than what I made, then like I'm happy to do it.
That was a great use of the word couth.
Yeah.
So that's so coolly. Whose feed do you always stop scrolling for?
Okay.
The little shout.
Yeah, there's this influencer. She's Australian. Her name is Tara Milk Tea. Okay. Everybody follow Tara
Okay.
Milk Tea. Her feed is the most aesthetically beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I
Should
think
I
she
look her
was
up?
Yeah, Tara Milk Tea, Tara, Tara Milk Tea. She has just the most aesthetically beautiful theme, and every couple months she changes like the color. But I think she was an architect or interior design or something, and she does this like beautiful like Christmas landscape. I'm not even a Christmas person. She just has a beautiful theme. I love the way she dresses. I love her outfits. A lot of it I wouldn't wear, but I still love it. She's just like aesthetically, I was like, that's everything that I could never be. I'm not that organized, and I don't have that visual eye, but I love seeing someone who does.
Okay, well, I just followed her. I'm not showing her on here because I don't want to be,
Yeah,
I don't know what I can show on here. But everyone go follow her because it is gorgeous.
love
It's
Tara Milk Tea.
beautiful. A new person for me to follow. Thanks,
You're
Allie.
welcome.
This is going to be a hard one for you. What's one thing your online friends wouldn't know about you based on your social media? You share almost everything, so I don't know how applicable this is for you.
I don't know. I am kind of mysterious sometimes, so I've been told. I have like random things that people are like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Of your answer for you, sorry.
Tell me what my answer was.
that you were a makeup artist.
Yeah, I did that for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call myself like a makeup artist, but I have done a lot of makeup for people in my lifetime and like in a professional way. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't like ketchup. I don't like tomatoes or anything tomato based. I was just saying that to girls today and they were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, no barbecue sauce, no like
No barbecue sauce.
anything with a tomato base, no red sauce on pasta, nothing."
What are you eating? Are you just doing pesto?
I do like a white sauce or I'll do pesto. Yeah, I don't do red sauce ever.
Are you eating pizza?
I prefer a white pizza.
I mean, I do too, but
Mhm.
well, I really didn't know that about you either. I'm
Yeah,
really
no.
not judging food from me at
Very,
all right.
very anti-tomato over here.
I mean, I don't like tomatoes, but I like tomato sauce. All right, well, that's fun fact, everyone. Allie doesn't like tomato-based pastas and sauces.
Tomatoes and all of its children, basically.
Tomatoes and the tomato children.
Mhm.
Got it. We gotta end this with the big one. Are you ready?
Okay.
If you could only have one skincare product that is not SPF, what are you picking? You can name a brand, it can be specific.
The clearing serum by Skin Better Science.
Allie Dawson, thank you for coming on to Friends from the Feed. Oh my
Thank you
gosh.
for having me. I'm so excited.
You were my first person when I thought of this idea 4 or 5 years ago. You were always in the rotation of people that I would interview because, duh. But also, people literally are obsessed with you, and I was like, I need to get in there and ask her all my questions.
Well, thanks for being. Taylor is like one of the people that have championed me for so many years now. I would not be where I am on the internet without you. And so I like, she's somebody that I'm just always going to like have as a resource and want around and like want her opinion. She's so good. She makes the best captions in the entire world. And I just, yeah, I would not have gotten my social media to where it is if it wasn't for Taylor. So you'll always be someone who I love and appreciate.
Everyone watching, I didn't ask her to say that. That was so nice.
It's true though. I genuinely mean it. Like there's, and I think that that's what's so great about us is that our relationship happened so organically and you know me so well at this point. I was just talking to a client today and she was like, I would have never known you had someone help you. And I'm like, yeah, that's because Taylor knows me so well that like we are able to create things that feel like organically me in a curated way.
Well, thank you for saying all those nice things, Al, even though this is your episode. I am so happy to have you on. Hopefully we'll do another mini series again because I know you'll be back. But thank you. Let's say goodbye to all the friends. Bye, friends.